Welcome to the latest edition of WCPO's Lounge Acts. My name is Gil Kaufman. I'm your host. Today we have in the Digital Lounge, Washington, D.C.'s Priests. They just played a show at the Woodward Theater last night. They're going to play a couple songs for us here today, and we're going to talk to them after the break. We're going to hear JJ and Pink White House from their new album. We'll talk to them a little bit, and we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody.
Coming
palm trees. Come on, soft trees. Come on, vacation. Come on, SUV. Ooh, baby, my American dream. Ooh, baby, my American dream. Come on, sitcom. Come on, streaming. Come on, nostalgia. 90s TV. Ooh, baby, my American dream. Ooh, baby, my American dream. Come on, nothing. Come on, surface meetings. Come on, cash grab. Sticky masturbating. Ooh, baby, my American dream. Ooh, baby, my American dream. I am not some fundraising. I am anticipating appreciation. No white painting. It's a common disease, it's a common disease. Lapdog a tease, lapdog a tease. It's a common disease, lapdog a tease, lapdog a tease. So kneel at the feet of programming. I'm really not concerned with what you think. You are just a cog in the machine, and I am a West Stream, soft and mean, thick like steam, slick and lean. You're too pitiful to be obscene, too cowardly to be embarrassing. Reinforcing everything, killing all that bleeds. So all right.
If you're just trying to wake up out of your post-lunch stupor, that was just what you needed. That was JJ and Pink White House from our guest today in the Digital Lounge, DC's Priest. Thank you guys. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Let's kind of go around the horn and everybody introduce yourself.
Sure. Jill.
I'm GL Jaguar. I play guitar.
I'm Katie. I sing.
Taylor, I play bass.
Hey, and I'm Danielle, and I play drums.
Thank you guys for joining us today. If you're joining us on Facebook, these guys played a show last night at the Woodward Theater in Over the Rhine. It is, from what I understand, your first actual venue show in Cincinnati. You've played a bunch of house parties before?
I guess so. Yeah.
And a church.
Yeah, but they're usually shows put together by friends, and now we have a booking agent, and so, yeah, it's like a...
So how did it feel to graduate from like playing somebody's, like basement or living room to playing like an old theater?
That space is really big, so felt kind of weird, but it sounded good, and we really loved the two bands that we played with, so that was really exciting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you guys are touring in support of your first full-length album, Nothing Feels Natural, which came out in January, is that right?
That is
On
correct.
Sister Polygon Records, which is your own record label.
That is us.
So I have to ask, what took you so long to put out like a full-length record? I know you've put out a couple cassettes, some EPs. Why did it take so long to cook? Danielle?
Violent immaturity, anger management issues, lack of work ethic. I can think of a million reasons. No, we put out a lot of shit in the meantime. We put out our first tape, a 7-inch, another tape, an EP. I think because we were doing it ourselves the whole time and figuring it out as we went, we didn't really feel like we really wanted an album not to be just a collection of songs, but really like a conceptual, unified whole. And so I think it wasn't until after the EP we really felt like we're like, okay, we got this. We're gonna tackle, because we put out the EP as a split between our own record label, and Don Giovanni and Joe was like, you should just go for it and do the LP when we were doing the EP, and because we had other songs. And we were just kind of like, no, it doesn't feel right. These songs are meant to be an EP together. And so, yeah, just like what the songs themselves ask for is a proper home, I think.
Dare I ask what the concept is? You said they were kind of conceptually linked.
I write lyrics like I think of them as like little short stories a lot of times. So for me, as the lyricist, it felt like this was a nice collection of short stories that you might all read together. And like a collection of short stories, there might not be like one word or phrase that is like the theme, but they feel like they go together.
Yeah, I mean, and when I listen to songs like, I mean, I was listening to Pink White House, which we just heard, and you know, like there's that line in there, anything you want, anything, you know, anyone you want, anywhere you want. And I just kept coming back to that line. It's such a provocative line, and I was curious, like, what's that short story telling us about, or what was in your mind when you wrote that line?
That's like a vibe that I pick up a lot of times, maybe watching TV or consuming other kinds of media. I think that's like just the way that we sell ourselves to each other, the way that people are socialized to sell products and things like that in the USA. We're like this land of opportunity. And I think it even extends outside of the USA. It's just sort of Western culture is always trying to seduce you and promise you everything. And yeah.
One of the things, GL, you and I were talking about was that this is kind of the first time you're playing festivals in the U.S.
Yeah, we just got back from Europe and we played a bunch of festivals there, and now we're over here playing a bunch of festivals here. And what's really nice about the festivals we've played there and the ones that we seem to be playing here is they actually seem like they're for fans of music. We just played Pitchfork in Chicago, and it was really amazing to see so many fantastic groups. Like we saw PJ Harvey, which was pretty amazing. So
That's always a treat. I mean, seeing PJ Harvey, and I actually read, I think I read somewhere that somebody described, you know, you as kind of a mix between a country singer from the '60s and Danzig.
I love that.
Yeah, I was
Being
like,
compared to Danzig was like seriously, I've been waiting for someone to make that comparison.
Feels like
I
a
was
career high, right?
Yes, yeah, it was cool.
And playing those festivals, you know, I think you're playing Pickathon too, which is kind of a cool.
And Maha Music Fest as well.
And why did you decide that this was the year that you were going to kind of do that here in the U.S.? I mean, was there something that changed that you wanted to try to play in front of those big crowds?
I don't know if we chose it as much as like we like really took this album seriously, and we like when we made it, we put a lot of time. That's the other reason it took a long time. We recorded it twice, took a long time to make it. We finally built a team up around us, like getting a booking agent, getting someone that does press for us. So because we kind of took it to the next level with the album, it's the first time we've gotten festival offers too. So it's like, which is because we, I think, took the album so seriously. But
I don't know if it's even that we took it more seriously in the writing of the songs than we ever have before. But it's like,
in like the
in a
professional
business
aspect.
in a business sense. It was
Yeah.
like we finally all decided like we're doing this band as a business. It is what we love to do, but it's also like we've put a lot of money into it. We need to make some money. Like,
Were you sick of day jobs too? Was that
Yeah.
part of it? Like, do you all still have day jobs?
Kind of. I mean, day jobs in the sense that we work in restaurants that let us leave for months at a time.
I did, and I promised I wouldn't get too political, but I did read that there was a Pizzagate kind of, you know, connection to. Was it? Do you work at that? Restaurant?
Danielle and I work at the sister restaurant, and it's really awful and terrifying.
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy story. Did you see any of that go down? Like any of that? It's at the place is called The Comment.
Yeah, I did not
DC.
personally see it, but I mean, we had just had band practice. We were dropping Danielle off to go to work, and there was like a police barrier around it, and there had already been like a bunch of people calling in and making threats. So, kind of like in a dark humor, off-color sort of way, I was like, oh man, I hope no one went in there with a gun, and then someone had gone in there with a gun.
That's really like the theme of the USA Today is like you make a dark humor joke, and then it comes true every time, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Is dystopian reality?
I think what a lot of people maybe outside don't understand too is like it seemed so, to some people, that whole situation seemed so absurd that people would believe that there were child sex slaves held captive in this restaurant basement. But it was not absurd or funny to my bandmates who like every day were getting phone calls in the restaurant like, you people should die for what you're. It was just a lot of like veiled homophobia.
It's kind of hard to believe. Like it's hard to believe that people believe that story.
It's hard to believe, but then it's also like, when I think about like all the hate in this country. Like, not actually that hard to believe.
Does living in DC, I mean, do you get kind of immune to it, or do you almost get more, your back gets up about it more when you see so much of, things like that going on in your hometown? Was that a loaded one? GL, you want to grab that one?
Yeah, it's really crazy because like DC is kind of a bubble. It pretty much almost always votes Democrat, and it's like a very liberal like city, and a lot of people that are like older, a lot of people just are like, oh, these things can never happen. But like we're traveling the back roads of this country all the time, and it's like we've been seeing this for years. But then, like a friend of mine owns a bar in DC, and they had like a pride flag up, and then the flag was like burned, and then all these like white supremacist flyers ended up all over the neighborhood. It's like protect your family, and it's like a picture of like white child and white kid, which is crazy because like DC's primarily a black city,
Right.
So it's just really terrible to see this on our home turf, and terrible to see it everywhere. Just so.
I promised I wouldn't get political, so I'm going to pivot from
No,
that
it's
one.
okay.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Facebook today. As I mentioned, we have priests from DC.
Thanks for watching.
They're playing some songs with us. We're gonna get a little bit lighter here in a minute and play a couple more songs. But I do want to ask you about one more line off the album,
Sure.
off
Ask
JJ,
away.
which we also heard.
Yeah.
It's this great line where you kind of talk about, I thought I was a cowboy because I smoked Reds.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a great image. Like, tell me about. Is that
I
another
just
kind
think
of
I was
inspired
like
by
a
TV?
younger. No, I don't always like draw stuff from personal life, but
Yeah.
that one, like, there was a time in my life where I smoked cigarettes, and I was really into Marlboro Reds. They're nasty, and like I thought I was like a real tough guy for smoking them.
That's like the tough guy cigarette.
Yeah.
Or Camel Unfiltered.
Yeah, I just really thought that. Yeah. So
So that's
all
another
about me.
ripped from the headlines kind of.
don't
kind of
smoke
thing.
cigarettes. They're
Don't-
disgusting.
Listen, kids, don't
Yeah,
smoke cigarettes. You heard it
seriously
right here. All right, well, we're going to get back into some music here, and we'll talk to these guys a little bit more after the break, but we're going to hear Leila 20, right?
Lelia 20, yeah.
Leila 20, and then the title track from the album, Nothing Feels Natural.
Yes.
All right, take it away.
You're my worst dream. Oh, flame through passage.
excellent way to perk up the middle of your day. We're here in the Digital Lounge today with Washington, D.C.'s Priests, who just played us a couple more songs from their new album, which came out on their label, Sister Polygon Records. You can get it at sisterpolygonrecords.bigcartel.com. We just heard Lelia 20. I'm gonna get it right the third time.
You got it.
And we heard Nothing Feels Natural, which is the title track to the album. And before we go, for you guys especially, I wanted to ask, were you listening to like a lot of new wave, like New Order, Bow Wow Wow? Like I get tones of that in your bass and in your guitar playing. I was curious if that was in your head at all when you were writing these songs.
Yeah.
Or am I asking about bands that are maybe outside of your
I don't know.
purview?
I'm sure I've heard a Bow Wow Wow song, but I couldn't name it.
I Wouldn't Candy. That's the one song that people
I
know.
feel like we all listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
Particularly, we're driving in the van together, and I think when we were writing a lot of these songs, we were all listening to a lot of like the first couple Cure records and Bauhaus and stuff like that. But also another big touchstone for this record was the third Portishead record.
Oh, cool.
So I love that record.
I hear a lot of that in there. All right, well, then I don't feel as bad, but thank you again for joining us on the podcast today. You can get this podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. We're glad to have Priest join us today. They're going to be in Columbus tonight, and then you move on to Detroit. Is that right? After
That's
that,
right.
And then on across the country.
And then Baltimore, and then we head out to the West Coast.
And if you want to catch up with all things Priest related, you can go to their mother-approved website, 666priest666.com. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. We really
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us, WCPO.